Ambassador Ajay Malhotra, thank you so much for joining in on CNN News 18's. The Russian President Vladimir Putin's state visit is happening at a time when Russian oil imports are all set to hit their lowest in 3 years in December. This after the US President pushed India to stop buying oil from Russia after there were sanctions imposed on the two Russian oil majors. What's the broader message behind the state visit for the US President?
I think the main message is not for the US president, it's for our relations between India and Russia. And as it happens, there would obviously be much international interest in what is happening in such a visit. But yeah, the focus is not USA out here, and nor is it the unilateral sanctions that have been put in place by the US. These will be addressed, no doubt. But since you refer to oil and oil sanctions, I should point out that these affect private players and PSUs in India. And most of the private players probably would have fallen in line simply because they have a business interest in USA, and they would not like to see them harmed due to the sanctions that have been imposed. It is not, so it is really out of the, I would say, almost a bullying kind of situation that they've found themselves in. The same would apply to the PSUs. They're not government companies entirely. They are public sector units, which means that there's a significant percentage which is owned by private individuals in them. So they also have long-standing and deep-rooted contacts with American companies, which they want to continue, and would hesitate in buying oil from Russia at this moment from those two particular companies. So let's see how that develops. But I wouldn't say it's the main focus of the visit. The main focus is our friendship and taking it forward.
Sure. And given the deeply divided geopolitical climate, how do you view this visit? Is it also a reminder to the West that India-Russia relations do not just hinge on oil trade alone? So be it defense purchases, civil nuclear cooperation or bilateral trade, will deals with Russia in these areas help India to reassert its strategic autonomy?
You know, our foreign policy has always been characterized by independence of judgment and action. And I think this continues here. Somebody saying something or making a noise in another country, that's up to them. And we'll see how to handle it. But Russia has been a long-standing and friend of ours, a trustworthy friend of ours, and we have deep-rooted relations with it, which go back many decades. So there's no reason for us to kind of get influenced or kind of bullied or pressurized by anyone else, no matter how important or powerful the player may be. And as President Trump says, you know, he is a America first sort of person. So yeah, but even for India, he would say that, yeah, India first is our policy. And we look to our interests first rather than the interests of any state, no matter who it might be, and no matter how important they may be or they think they may be. So yeah, so we are looking at taking forward this relationship. You would have noticed that it is a state visit, which means the highest honors will be accorded. That means there would be a welcome, official ceremonial welcome, including at Rashtrapati Bhavan. There would be a state banquet, etc. So all these are important indicators. It's not, in fact, they haven't had a state visit, I think, from Putin for a long time.
Yes, yes.
The last was in 2002.
Which was a summit.
Yeah, no, it's always for the summit. But, you know, the summits have also been as working visits or official visits. So this one is a state visit, which means the guest, Putin is a guest of the President of India. And that means throughout his stay here, he remains the guest of the President of India. So that's an important difference. So it shows that we are according the highest honor to the President of a friendly country with whom we have, as we have, you know, agreed to describe our friendship in the year 2010, 15 years ago. We upgraded it to a special and privileged strategic partnership. And so that is it.
So given the historic nature of the India-Russia defense partnership and the upcoming procurements that India is looking to finalize, particularly the S-400, even the Sukhoi 57, and the renewed focus, especially on national security after Operation Sindoor, is the defense partnership also going to test India's tightrope between Russia and the West?
I don't think we are on a tightrope here. We have traditionally had good defense ties with every country who wanted to sell their equipment to us, which was of good quality, and if we wanted to buy it at that quality. And we would look at the price, we would look at the availability of spares, we would look at technology transfer and other aspects of it. And traditionally, we have had French Mirages, British Jaguars, Swiss Pilatus planes, trainers,
Right.
Swedish Bofors, etc. So that is maybe a lot more of the Russian equipment because it is hardy, it is price competitive, and there was technology transfer. If others offer on similar terms, we would weigh them all. And in any case, our intention is to manufacture domestically. We want to be self-sufficient in this. Atmanirbhar is our policy. But till the time we achieve this self-sufficiency, particularly where there are high technology
And
defense
that's a
items,
very interesting point you've
we would
made,
have to
because
import.
Russia is more, up for helping India share that technology than the Western sort of partners are. Speaking of Operation Sindoor and the upcoming defense procurement, which also includes this technology transfer that you're talking about and deep localization, will this meet be closely watched by Pakistan and China as well, given China's defense assistance to Pakistan during Operation Sindoor?
I'm sure they would be closely watching it. Uh, Russia has never really supplied to Pakistan except for 4 Mi-35 helicopters in the Afghanistan context for anti-drug action. But China has been, rather excessive, like America. Let's not forget our good American friends who have been regularly supplying sophisticated fighter planes and other equipment to the Pakistanis, whom they continue to consider as a major non-NATO ally. So we too are watching what the rest of the world is doing. And I hope if they are watching us, we have absolutely no problem. We are open about all that we do. We have bought the S-400 rather late, in my view, but we have found it very useful. We are planning to pick up a few more, I'm told, as per media reports, another 5 of them, 5 systems. And we are looking at S-500. The S-500 has not yet established itself in terms of its capabilities. So I doubt if any movement would be there on it, but we would look at it.
Do you think
And we
these
look at
fresh
technology
purchases
transfer
could
too.
land India in fresh trouble with the United States, given that the previous purchase of S-400 didn't go down well with the previous Trump administration and he did slap CATSA?
Well, that would be unfortunate. USA is also our dear friend. We have two friends here, USA and Russia. And we would like them to end up being friends once again. And therefore, we have always welcomed moves by President Trump to sort out this issue that the West has with President Putin and the Russians. And we were very happy to see the summit at Anchorage in Alaska and the follow-up that has taken place since then, the exchange of delegations and views, etc. And we do hope they sort out their issues, because then together we can do many things. I would think in terms of, actually India, USA, Russia makes a very strong combination. And then you can look at what else is happening in the world and what needs to be done.
So when you're talking about what's happening around the world, much of Russia-US relationship is currently governed by the Ukraine conflict also. This will be Putin's first India visit since the war began. Prime Minister Modi has always maintained that it's not an era of war and the solution doesn't lie on the battlefield. But US mediation is currently on, with the active involvement of President Trump himself, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner as well. Despite its partnership with Russia in multilateral forums like, say, BRICS or even the G20 and the good offices India shares with Ukraine, does India's mediation effort even matter?
India is not doing any mediation effort at all. The comment made by our Prime Minister was in September 2022,
Right.
just 3 years ago.
Even the possibility of such an effort.
I don't see the reason, because if you say you want dialogue and diplomacy, excuse me, dialogue is what the Anchorage meeting was about. And diplomacy is these interactions which you have pointed out, Witkoff and Jared Kushner and others, interacting with Lavrov and Kirill Dmitriev, etc. So that's underway. So they don't need any interlocutor. They have not asked for an interlocutor. It would be quite strange for us to go and insert ourselves into that and say we want to mediate. Excuse me, they're doing fine out there. And we hope they reach good results. In fact, our encouragement should be to the Americans and Russians. please move ahead a little faster. That's about it. But like we would resent if they would try and mediate in our concerns where they're uninvited, I think equally we should not step forward, nor have we done so. So, yeah, let's see how this all pans out. The Americans, I think, have taken the right approach. We have to stop that war. And the Americans and Russians can find those solutions. And those solutions need to meet the best interests of Russia and Ukraine. And these are security interests, these are security concerns which can easily be worked out. These are not impossible
All right.
Requirements. And if those, there are some at the moment who are feeding that war actually. If you see some of the Europeans, you can see that they are talking of, no, we will give more. They don't have the wherewithal to give anything at the moment, and yet they're feeding that war. So that is a little worrisome. I think everyone should move to a position where we let the two main interlocutors, the Americans and the Russians, sort this issue out. And they seem to be heading in the right direction from my viewpoint.
Been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.